Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sorry We're Closed podcast, brought to you by me, and only me. We got an interesting story, and I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I said it on Twitter this morning. I had no clue what I was going to talk about, but lo and behold, Joe Kelly last night gives me something to talk about. Joe was a teammate of mine back in my Boston days. He was a teammate of mine in AAA because he was having some struggles once he got sent over from the Cardinals. He came down to AAA. You know, I was actually his roommate. Tremendous guy, lovely guy. But Joe, as he's done in the past, you know, he did last year with the Red Sox Yankees fight. Now he's doing it this year and taking matters into his own hands for the Astros. And I think everyone can agree headhunting is never what we want to do. And I don't think Joe was headhunting. I can tell you when you pitch in the big leagues and when you throw at guys, I've thrown at guys, not in the big leagues, but I've thrown at guys before, you get amped up. You're possibly starting, and actually this guy's actually might charge the mound at you. So you're literally starting a fight in a lot of cases. And Joe, and well, not so just Joe, but everyone, sometimes you get amped up, and whenever you get amped up and try to throw the ball hard, a lot of times your arm drags and the ball, sails on you a little bit and gets a little bit high. That's why you aim mid-back and ends up, could be end up by the neck. It's unfortunate, but if you guys knew anything about me during my playing career, I am an old school baseball guy. I think that you don't disrespect people that haven't disrespected you. I like Giancarlo Stanton. I think it was last year, a year before. No, it's got to be the Marlins, and he was in the Marlins, I think. He was going nuts after a home run because some guy was going nuts after striking him out. I think that's fine. Do that. Playoffs, I also believe completely. There's no rules in the playoffs. If you hit a big home run in the playoffs, go nuts. I think emotion is huge then. But in May, I have a tough time being like, okay, May in the third inning, it's a lot. Tim Anderson does this a lot. In May in the third inning, we're hitting a home run and we're, pimping it. It is ridiculous. Act like you've been there. I've always been that guy. That's how I've always operated, and I think that's how other people should too. But you don't have to by any means. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to go get mine later. So I love what Joe did. I think he should have. I think all of baseball wants to do this, and I've been pretty calm about the whole Astros cheating scandal. I don't know any players personally on the team, but to be as cocky as they were, and as we're the best team in baseball, we're this, we're that, and you have Bregman, you get who it seems like a cool dude. You got Correa, you got all these, Altuve. Everyone's looking up to Altuve because he's this short guy that is the best player in baseball, the best hitter in baseball. Like, who would have thought? Like, you got all these things and all this swagger about you, but you're doing it while cheating, and I have a hard time swallowing that pill. It's just not. It's not. I don't know. Listen, I'm not a cheater. I've seen cheating in baseball. Cheating probably happens on every single team. I'm also a part of that camp. I've seen it happen in baseball. It is what it is. Most of the time, it's very minor things. I've never seen it in a fashion that the Astros used it, but you can't walk around with that swagger. You can't win a World Series. You can't do this. You can't do that. And then when you get caught, now play the victim. Like last night, Carlos Correa gets the ball thrown at him. And I wasn't going to touch on this because I thought Carlos was a Boras client, and I was a Boras client, so I always try to stay away from guys that are Boras clients. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. In my opinion, I have a little bit of a connection with those guys, even though I don't know them at all personally. But you have a guy who cheated the game of baseball. And I just saw a tweet by our good friend Eric Hubbs, talked about what Dave Roberts said, that Dave said that Joe Kelly should get the same suspension that Carlos Correa got for cheating the game of baseball. And it couldn't be more spot on. You can't suspend one single person for throwing at the Astros this year because Major League Baseball, you did nothing to the players. Now, granted, I also know that the Players Association didn't allow you to do anything to the players. I get that. I understand the inner workings. I understand that the players would not have cooperated with your investigation without being granted this immunity. At least that's what I've read what happened. And I'm sure the Players Association did a great job of protecting these guys. And this is why guys like Alex Cora and that GM, I don't remember his name, but all these guys that got suspended that don't have unions because they weren't protected. But Major League Baseball, you gave the okay to these guys, essentially saying, okay, we'll grant these guys immunity, and these guys, we'll just talk to them to get their information. That's all fine. But you can't now, because you did nothing, and you did this as part of your little investigation, you can't now go punish guys for taking it into their own hands, because you made this bet. You did this, not anyone else. You didn't control the game. And listen, let me be as honest with you guys as I can be. Major League Baseball knows cheating happens. They want cheating to happen. They want steroids to happen. They want all of these things to happen because they are a business. They make more money when home runs happen, when guys throwing 143 miles per hour happen. This is what baseball wants. They don't want it to get to the media, which is exactly when they start to take action. But they want cheating to happen. It is what it is. Again, remember that, like I said before, Major League Baseball is an absolute business. They want to make as much money as possible. And we all talked about it as players that we were horses. We're not, they don't care about us. They care about us as much as they can make off us. They want to make money off us. These big-time contracts, it's unbearable to listen to some of these people say how Mookie Betts doesn't deserve this and so-and-so doesn't deserve this. These guys deserve it. These owners are going to make back this contract and then some, and these guys could hit $150 their entire contract. Jersey sales, ticket sales, all these things. There's a reason why these guys get these contracts, and it's exhausting listening to some people on Twitter talk about how how do these players deserve this? Well, how do the owners deserve billions? You're talking about a game. Oh, they're playing a game. Guys, you're buying tickets. You're going to the game. You're watching it on TV. You're doing all of these things because you want to go watch this guy play, and millions others want to do it too. That means that guy deserves to get paid what he deserves. It's nauseating, and it's without logic to state that these guys don't deserve this money. Regardless of play, if you purchase a ticket to go see this gentleman play, you are now validating that this person's worth that much more, or whatever they are paying him. Not to mention he's been underpaid his whole career up until this point, probably. It's exhausting. But I digress from that to go back to Major League Baseball wants cheating to happen. The only reason, steroids came out and all this stuff came out was, they had to. They had no other choice. But you talk about Mark McGwire, you talk about Barry Bonds, talk about these Sammy Sotas. These guys, the most exciting time in baseball. You don't think the owners want to go back to that? Are you kidding me? Wouldn't you if you were an owner? It's. And then also to talk about these guys don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Of course they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, they cheated the game. But the entire rest of the league was cheating too. Maybe not the rest of the league. I take that back. I won't make that egregious of a claim. But there was probably many other pitchers that were also taking steroids at that time. Probably. But when you talk about this, and I'm not saying Carlos Correa, Altuve, all these guys shouldn't be, at the end of their careers be in the Hall of Fame, depending on how their careers end up going. I'm not taking away the Hall from them because of this. But what I'm not going to be happy about, and if I'm on an opposing pitcher, if I'm on an opposing team, if I'm on the Astros, yeah, I protect my guys. But at the same token, I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, we didn't deserve this. How dare you treat us this way? Let's just quickly break down playoffs and the bonus pool that these guys get. You're literally, the teams you're beating, whether or not you're the more talented team or not, but because you're cheating in a more egregious way, and in such an egregious way where these guys know what's coming, because you're doing things like this, you're taking literally probably hundreds of thousands of dollars out of people's pockets. Yeah, you're probably taking them from millionaires, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. You're still taking money out of other people's pockets by cheating the game and putting it in your own. And that is it is as disgusting as it gets in the game of baseball. Listen, I tried a lot of things. I cheated my ass off sometimes in baseball. I would do things to get, better grips on the baseball. I wasn't trying to make my pitches better, I can promise you that. I was just trying to know where the damn fastball was going. I've done that. All the pitchers freaking do that, and no one cares because it's not egregious. They understand what's going on. Just like hitters have pine tar on their bats, it's not allowed to go to a certain level because they don't want affecting the hit, but they want to get better grip on the bat. Totally get it. I want a better grip on the ball. Believe me, as a hitter, you want me to have a better grip on the ball because you want me to kind of have an idea where it's going, especially a guy like me who's throwing 100. So there's ways to cheat and not really get in any trouble. And most of baseball does it. But to come in here and then get thrown at and act like, pity party for Correa, you dug your own grave, man. You dug your own grave. Whether you were on board for it or not, you stayed there and did it. You absolutely dug your own grave. And it's an absolute, it's a shame. It's ridiculous that your reaction. I have no problem with you being mad and sticking up for yourself and being like, screw this guy. But at the same time, if you can't reflect on this at the end and be like, well, I kind of deserve it still, then you need some serious self-reflection. Because you guys absolutely cheated the game of baseball. You won a World Series during it. And let me be clear about this. I don't remember the guy's name that came out and said all this, and I don't know all the backstory. Who knows what's going on in that clubhouse. I heard some rumors that maybe he was trying to tell or trying to get the team to stop, and he was shut down. There was a lot of rumors flying. But it really it didn't really sit well with me all that much when he came out after winning a World Series, after taking home probably $200,000 or $300,000 in a playoff pool in his pocket, a ring. So the list goes on and on. It doesn't really sit well with me that he leaves town and then rats. That didn't sit well with me either. Now there's a lot, I don't know a whole lot about the story, whether or not, again, if you try to do it in a better way, try to get the team to stop. I always think that what's in the clubhouse stays in the clubhouse, and you try to resolve in the clubhouse. I've always believed that you stick with it. It's your team, it's your brothers. But again, to go and cheat the way you did, and then get thrown at what you know is happening, and get all butthurt and talk to and start jawing off at Joe Kelly and staring him down. What are you staring him down for? What are you staring him down for the $400,000 you got in a playoff pool because you guys won the World Series? Staring him down for the was it a $20,000 World Series ring that's probably worth more because it's a World Series ring and people want that on eBay. What are you staring him down for? What did he gain? To get a little frustration out on you after you cheated Joe, maybe not Joe, I guess he was the Red Sox. You could make an argument for that as well. But you cheated the team that he's on now out of possibly a World Series. But you're staring him down? Listen, the Astros guys deserve to get hit. They don't deserve to get headhunted. No, we don't need to get to a point where we possibly are injuring people. But listen, they deserve to get hit. I'm a old school baseball guy. Go after them. I loved what Keith Folk said today on Twitter. These guys have they act all tough, but why not go after him? Joe's obviously not afraid of it. You saw the Red Sox Yankees brawl. Listen, you did what you did. Now and you didn't get any repercussions from Major League Baseball. So now you're gonna have to wear this, and you have to shut your mouth, go to first base, take the base, and move on. There will be a time where I'm going to be on your side if it keeps happening. But for right now, you shut your mouth and you take it. You take it like a man because you have probably $500,000, $400,000 in your bank account more than these clowns do because of what you did. Directly correlated to what you did. You have a World Series ring. And you probably got way better numbers than you probably should have right now in Major League Baseball because of what you did, which will lead to bigger contracts. So honestly, you're getting away easy by having a 95-mile-an-hour fastball come at you that you did end up avoiding. But you have it easy if you get probably hit 5, 10 times this year. You got off easy probably. This is an absolute. If someone told me you got to go get hit by 95-mile-an-hour fastball 10 times in a year to get $500,000, a World Series ring, and better contracts and better numbers for a 10-year career, guess what? Putting the helmet on, grabbing the old bat, and I'm wearing it. So take it with a grain of salt. Understand your role and understand what you did to warrant what you're getting. Because you deserve it. You deserve what you're getting. Anyway, should have been more of a drinking podcast, as I state. And I don't want this to be only about baseball, but can't talk about the Red Sox. I promised you guys that on Twitter last night that we wouldn't talk about the Red Sox because there is no need to talk about the Red Sox. They're struggling right now. And it's not a Red Sox podcast. I just happen to talk about them because I'm a fan of them. And, I like talking about it on Twitter. But that's what I have. Joe Kelly, absolutely amazing man. I had a lot of fun with him when I played with him in Boston. He helped me a lot. He's got an electric fastball, great curveball, phenomenal at video games. One of the better. What was it? Zombies. He's unbelievable at zombies. My foursome there was me, David Price, Brian Johnson, Joe Kelly, and David Price and Joe Kelly were consistently having to pick me up and beat me and BJ up quite frequently during the game of zombies. The both of them are much better players than me and Brian are. So phenomenal guy. Couldn't agree more with what he did. I'd like him to bring it down and hit him in the back, but I'm sure that wasn't intentional, knowing Joe. Anyway, guys, this is episode 6. Sorry we're closed. Phenomenal start to the podcast. And now going into August, we got some guests coming up. We got, I'm going to drop some names here. We got Will Middlebrooks coming on. We got Eric Hubbs. We got Jared Carabas. Carabas is as big of a nightmare to try to schedule as it gets right now. So he actually probably won't be the first gentleman on the podcast. But we got some good guys. I actually got another guy, Christian Bergman. Who you guys may or may not know, but look him up. Guy plays in Seattle. Ended up being probably one of my better friends in baseball, and he'll be coming on. He played in the big leagues with Seattle and Colorado. But I hope you guys enjoyed episode 6. Please subscribe, rate 5 stars, as my brother would say. If you really like what you hear, rate us 5 stars. If you don't like what you hear, then shut your mouth and don't rate at all. Just keep moving. But subscribe, rate me 5 stars. Go on YouTube. YouTube is something, we want to make sure we're watching that. If you prefer to watch rather than just listen, we'll have some different graphics in the podcast on YouTube, so it's more of a TV show than it is just a radio show. And then go to my website, thepatlight.com. Please subscribe to that. We're going to start getting those email outs. We're probably going to start getting merchandise out. We're probably going to start doing some things, and you'll be first notified when there's blogs go out and when there's podcasts go out. So please go there and subscribe. I appreciate all you guys, and I will see you next time. Next podcast drops Monday at 5 a.m. This one drops Thursday, 5 a.m., and I will talk to you guys soon.